Welcome to 1000 PS, welcome to a slightly dark and a slightly rainy Sicily. But what is more important, that this is the launch of BMW's new 450 GS. This is the trophy and that is the standard. I'll be honest, conditions here in Sicily haven't been perfect, but we have had the opportunity to ride off-road and on-road throughout the day. So let me give you a little rundown of what to expect from the new GS from BMW. Now BMW kind of went back to the drawing board because they knew they had 48 horsepower, because that's the cap of A2 license. They knew they had 178 kilograms. We can't go any less than that. Again, that's A2 license. And then that's kind of your level, and everything underneath is you can go back to the drawing board. So what engine do we want? What chassis do we want? How are we going to go with it? So what BMW did is they've gone with a 420 parallel twin engine with a 135-degree crank. It's completely new. It's not a bored out something else or a big something else or reduced something else. It's a completely new engine platform that's actually made in India by TVS, same as the actual bike. I'm sure we're going to see this engine in different models, but I'll come on to that a little bit later. It's got the new easy clutch. So what that is, essentially, it means it's got a centrifugal clutch like a scooter. So you don't have to use the clutch when you start and stop. And you've got the Gear Shift Pro, which means it's clutchless changes. So essentially, you can ride this bike without ever using the clutch. So start it as you normally would, press down on first gear without using the clutch and pull away like you would on a big scooter. Now before you all go, well, I need the clutch for slow speed maneuvers and I need it for pulling wheelies and roostering, then you've still got it. If you want to use the clutch, it's still there. But on this top spec model with the easy clutch, you don't have to. And if you get really lazy, you can either stop in second or third gear and still pull away without using the clutch. It also means you can't stall, which makes it incredibly easy to ride in town and even easier when you ride it off-road. When you take new riders off-road, they're constantly stalling because they'll try going up a hill in second or third and stall, or they just get confused and there's a lot going on. Where with the easy clutch, it's impossible to stall. And a few times when we were riding through the riverbed, I was in second gear, hand on the bar, don't have to think about feathering the clutch, just let it do its own thing and pull me through, effortless and easy. Off-road, it's incredibly easy to ride. I could do with the bars to be a little bit higher, but there is an optional razor, so I'm sure taller riders will go for that. But really impressive feel, really impressive stance, feels quite narrow, we've got the rubber off the pegs, we've got the optional Karoo tyres, and we've got the optional Enduro Pro. In that mode, I've got no traction control, so I can do what I want with the rear, but I've still got ABS on the front, but no ABS on the back. Because you've only got that 48 horsepower, it's not that intimidating. So when you want to go for a little slide or you're feeling a little bit more confident, then you can do, and it's not going to get carried away with you. There was a few times that we were up in the hills, third, fourth gear, mountain pass, all off-road, loose gravel, plenty of water. Then I did get carried away once or twice, and that ABS is just there, just as a little bit of support, as a little bit of backup. It's not overly intrusive, it's just nice and there, just to give you that little bit of support, which allows you to concentrate on the road ahead. If you ride it really hard off-road, then there are limitations of this sports performance suspension. You probably need to go a little bit more on the compression, and if you go really hard, then you need to change the rear. Once or twice after landing wheelies, I went straight through the stroke and bottomed out. But it feels really robust and really strong. A few times I was getting massive rocks thrown onto the belly pan, and it just took it. There's a few times I had to get off and double check to make sure everything was perfectly fine, and it feels strong and it feels really robust. In terms of riding modes, we've got those three standard modes, which is the rain, the enduro and the road, and then we've got that optional Enduro Pro. We've got cornering ABS, as you'd expect, cornering traction control, and we've got all this familiar BMW switchgear. Heated grips as standard. You can turn the traction control off on the move with the throttle open or the throttle closed. We've got the familiar, is that a 6.5-inch dash, which is exactly the same on the 900 GS or the Boxer models and the 1300 GS. Because this is a under £7,000 GS, they've not dumbed it down. It's not got a budget dash or budget switchgear. It's still the big GS dash with all that information. And in my mind, that's one of the best dashes on the market, and that's available for a bike under £7 grand. We didn't really get the opportunity to ride the road version really hard because the weather was just really against us, which is a little bit of a shame because I was looking forward to that. The Maxxis tyres worked really well in the wet. We've been through some real biblical heavy rain and they've done really well, but I'll be interested to see what they're like in the dry. The brakes felt really good today. There was just once or twice I just thought they felt a little bit wooden, but again, we need to ride that in the dry and ride it really hard to feel what it's like in terms of suspension, in terms of what the engine's like, and in terms of high performance. If you turn off the traction control, which you can do on the fly, it'll wheelie in second gear, so it's definitely got some punch, it's definitely got some grunt to be able to do that. It's not that scientific, but to be able to just bounce it off the clutch in second and go into a nice little wheelie says a lot about the torque and the balance and the power of the bike. And I don't think there's any other bikes in this class that do that, but I've not ridden them all. Fueling is really good at low speed agility is very good, the balance is very nice. But I think for me, where BMW scores really highly against the competition, is it doesn't feel like a dumbed down entry-level bike. It feels like a GS. It feels like it's the GS family. It feels like the stepping stone to another GS. There was a few times I was riding it and I went to just do something and I was like, oh, I'm not on a 900 GS, because it feels very much like the 900 GS, but with 47, 48 horsepower. Really, really impressive bike. And even if you go for the top spec model, it's still under £8 grand, even once you start to add a few accessories. So it's still value for money, despite the very much GS feel and look to it. The two unanswered questions, what we have to answer at 1000 PS is, what is it like when it's dry, perfect, grippy, and we can really send it and see what the handling's like? We also could do with doing a few more miles, see what it's like at high motorway speeds, feel what that vibration is like. BMW told us that they did that crank, that 135 degrees, to reduce vibration so it doesn't feel as vibey as a 180 or a 270, but we need like a long stint on a motorway to do that. And obviously, as ever, at 1000 PS, we'll get the gang together and we'll do a big group test, because there's a lot of bikes in this category. I've not ridden the KLE 500 yet, but I have ridden the CF Motor, I have ridden the KTM 390 Adventure, and to me so far, this is ticking a lot of boxes. This doesn't feel entry level, and this is right on the cusp of what an A2 bike can. Hopefully we'll bring those two tests for you very shortly at 1000 PS. As always, if you want to know any more technical details like rake and trail and wheelbase and all that kind of information, then please fire some questions below. It's been a really, really enjoyable test. Really enjoyed riding it off-road. I didn't think it would be that good off-road and that enjoyable, but I think for me, who's not vastly experienced off-road, it's so accessible and it makes it so easy. And that easy clutch makes it easy. All those rider aids make it easy. It was, despite the weather, I just wanted to continue riding it off-road. And in fact, my flight doesn't leave till late tomorrow, so maybe they'll let me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.